Hey guys, just give me 2 minutes. Running a little bit late, and I'm having a little issue here with the same. It seems to be one of those days for everyone. So just give me 2 seconds, and I'll be ready to go. Cheers, Dave. Looks like that is sorted. So welcome, guys. Bit of change of plans. Originally, we were supposed to do a flight with the Dash 8, and my first officer decided to jump plane. So I'm going to be using a virtual first officer today, my FS2 crew buddy. And because I just literally just got this livery, I haven't done anything as yet, so I'm going to be doing everything on this stream with you guys. So this is my hometown, my home country, Barbados, and we're going to be heading over to Trinidad. We do have ATC, which is a bit strange because that doesn't happen too often, but we've got approach, and we've got a couple pilots on the ramp. KLM 737, he flew real far from Amsterdam. And then you've got a 737 as well with American Airlines. Anyways, let's get this show on the road. Hey Mike, how's it going? And for my truck IR. Now I had a crash. I had 2 SIM crashes just now, so I'm hoping that I don't have it again. Mike, for some reason, this thing is telling me, what's it called? SimKit. I put my flight plan in and it's sending me to Mexico and then bringing back down to Venezuela. No, Bolivia, then Venezuela, and then back to Trinidad. What the bird? Anywho. Yeah, this used to be Air Jamaica, no longer in um, operation. This was at that time, I think it was the only Airbus that was actually in the region, based in the region of the Caribbean. Air Jamaica went out of business and sold part of its operations to Trinidad, with the understanding that Trinidad would take the aircraft as well as the crew. Along the lines, Trinidad got rid of the Air Jamaica as well as the crew. Trinidad still keeps Caribbean Airlines because it was Caribbean Airlines that was actually operating them. So you would have seen that the latest livery in this color would have then said Caribbean Airlines, I believe. But I think there was some bad blood, and it didn't go well for Air Jamaica, and they eventually ceased operations completely. I think the crew was also laid off. At the time, Caribbean Airlines was mostly 737s, and um, after that, they still have the 737s, the 800s. I think they have a MAX on purchase, and then they went from the Dash 8s that they had, which was the Dash 8 300, to the ATRs. So Air Jamaica doesn't fly anymore, unfortunately, but as long as we've got SIM, all of these carriers will continue to fly. This was the first Airbus that I actually ever saw in my life. We're more accustomed to Boeing. Um, I think after that we had the A330s with Virgin, but that was probably like 4 years ago. Air Jamaica finished about, I want to say about 10, no, it had to be more than 10, probably like 15 years or so. Look, my first office is there. Hey Johnny, yeah, that thing that sucks. That thing that you sent me with the de-icing. I wonder if that switch actually works though. I mean, like, suppose you are, I don't know, on departure and your hand flying, you gotta hold that thing down for 10 seconds for what they claim. Man, that's too much. Alright, so I am just waiting for FS2 crew to power up the aircraft. I believe I had started it. Yeah, there we go. I can hear the first officer pull back his chair. I'll pull back my tray. He does the same. So when you guys see my videos up, most of the time this part is already done, and I actually just start from the before start checklist. So I should mute this. I'm gonna be doing everything from scratch for you guys to see. He's gonna go through his checks. He's doing his fire test right now. He's then gonna power up the aircraft, start the APU. I'm gonna do my part. He's gonna do his, and hopefully everything goes off before the hitch. Mike, did you get FS2 crew sorry? Not FS2 crew, sorry. Track IR. Oh, you did. I had my honeymoon in Barbados as well. 10 years ago. No, sorry, 8 years ago, or something like that. If I hope my wife didn't hear me say that. Man, we're gonna hop on. We're gonna have to get up on Discord and have a look, because it looks like you have the parameters for the. I think it's the left one, because you said that you could do. You can turn. You can see full 90 degrees to your right, but to your left you're not seeing it. Yeah. Well, S-plane has tallest and flight factor, no? Mike has both of them, I think. Okay, that's us powering up. Emergency lights on. Nav logo on. Crew oxygen on. Light up some of these instruments. And we're going to take care of the adheres. So there's one, IR1. Extinguish IR2. Extinguish IR3. And I just drag out my FMC. Or my MCDU rather. FMC is a Boeing thing.
Go ahead. Confirm chocks are in. Roger.
Hope you guys can still see that. Alright, so this is the first time that I'm actually using this aircraft, so I prefer pounds. So I'm going to change my units to pounds from kgs. And I'm going to make sure that our barrels are synced. That's fine. Yes, sweetie, recording. What's up? How many?
100.
Oh, well done.
Look. War chest. Look what else I got.
Lovely. Don't forget your bedtime. 9 o'clock. Yes, you got school tomorrow. Alright? Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so our nav data is up to date, 31st of December to the 27th of January. This is something that you don't have to do, but I prefer to from habit. So the first thing that I do is I have GSS deboard us. And this goes back to the days when GSS was first being incorporated into Fslabs, where because of how all the software is made when it comes to add-on aircraft, the pilots are already on the plane, and GSS used to send out crew to the plane as well, even though that you would have already at that time be virtually in the aircraft. FS2 came up with a fix for that. So basically when the crew comes to the plane, you wouldn't see the first officers and the captain coming to the plane. It would only be the flight attendants. But from habit, I still do the deboarding thing. Yeah, you can go to school tomorrow as well. I mean, like, we're all students of life. But if I had to go back to school, I would probably hide in a closet somewhere and just pray for to wake up. But then again, life is funny, you know, when you were going to school, you couldn't wait till you grow up, and now you're grown up, you're like, oh, snap. I don't know what the price is for Tolis and Flight Factor, Dave. Are there any other Airbuses? Isn't it? Is the jar more expensive? Because you know, Michael had a jar, but I don't see Michael flying the jar anymore. Is $100 just for the tallest? That's not that. Well, I mean, like, I don't want to say it's not that bad. I guess I was saying that, but I don't know. I'm kind of spoiled by Fslabs.
Okay,
Is
baggage
it?
claim is complete and the aircraft is clear.
Why is, I thought JAR was one of the good airplanes. They've got a 757. Okay, I'll take your word for it. But I thought the JAR was good because I heard people saying that the 757 was good.
I'm back. No issues on the look route.
All right. So flight number today is AJM 1244. Costing this of 25. We are going to be flying at 28,000 feet. It's going to be a rather short flight. Zero fuel weight is 137.5 and we're using 10.7 on the fuel. I'm gonna have to go through this flight plan and make sure it definitely isn't sending me to Venezuela. Nah, it's showing me proper fuel burn there. Alright, and we're gonna request our init. While that's doing that, I'm gonna get the wind on the second MacDo according to Michael. Michael, I can't do that, man. It's MCDU. I can't do that MacDo thing. Into Atsu, and we're going to set up our times for fueling and stuff like that. So init crew details. I am always flying with my daughter.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Why we have no catering? 100% catering. 100% water. Request catering. For boarding, it is now what? 2017. Let's do boarding for the next 3 minutes. 2020. We're gonna do this like a ZR. And if you're not familiar with Barbados, then a ZR is basically what tourists call a kamikaze, and it's a very small minibus. They're white with a purple band going across the middle, and they're probably the most popular mode of transportation on the southern side of the island, the south coast, which is where the airport is. Um, and they call it suicide bus because you have to be suicidal if you actually want to get into one of them. They're supposed to have, I believe, 19 or 20 sitting. It wouldn't be uncommon to see 40 plus people in the bus, people sitting on one another, and they drive at two different speeds, either ridiculously fast or ridiculously slow. Ridiculously slow is only when they're looking for passengers, they're not full. But if they are full and then there's another van behind them, then you're in a kind of rally of sorts. Hey Vincent, how's it going? See, like I had X-Plane and I started doing stuff on X-Plane with like Authro with Michael and Johnny, and it didn't work out for me. And I said to myself, even before then, that I needed to get the sim looking a certain way before I actually buy any aircraft. I never did. Um, yeah, it's something like the buses in Jamaica, Michael. I think the only thing that I managed to buy for X-Plane was Active Sky. I didn't buy anything, and I give up on that after a while. All right, so everything is integrated in this. So once I have set up the boarding and stuff like that, as you would have seen, GSS is now sending the crew over. This is just going to be the first officers. Catering is being done. So GSS is fully integrated. I also have UGCX that I use, but because it doesn't give the boarding of the aircraft and stuff like that, um, I tend to use GSX more. But I actually prefer UGCX for the main reason that everything is operated by voice. Kind of gives it a little bit more immersion for me, not to take anything away from GSX. So if you didn't have if you didn't have FS2 crew and you were just using GSX and with Fslabs or any other add-on, at this point you would be getting your first officer, your second officer, as well as your flight attendants joining the airplane, which is kind of a little bit unrealistic because the airplane doors are already open, the plane is already powered on. The only thing we haven't done is look at our flight plan, which I'll do in a couple seconds there. So what FS2 crew has done is they've disabled the first officer and the captain. You'll only see the flight attendants coming to the plane because you can already see in the window there the captain already seated in the plane. Yeah, GSS is supposed to incorporate a couple more things like changing the lavatory water and stuff like that. It hasn't gone live as yet. They do have an option to power the aircraft as well with their ground power unit, but it's only visuals. It doesn't affect the actual aircraft. Michael, I cannot fly before FS2 crew. The only aircraft that I wouldn't fly FS2 crew on is the Dash 8 because for some reason I just can't make that work. Oh, it's there already. Oh, you mean GSX? GSX. I don't know of a GEX. It's ground service. I don't know what the S stands for. What's the X for, Michael? I know the GS is ground services, but I have no idea what the S is for. Probably. No idea. Did the feeders come? You know what? Bloody hell. The feeders haven't come. Well, nothing's perfect. We manually call them. Because I'm like, why am I not getting my load sheet or anything like that? I think though, Michael, that with better pushback, if they went a bit further with better pushback, I think it'd be much better than GSX, to be fair. Hey cuz, how's it going? How is jar ground services? I see people using still jar ground services, no? Can't you use that with other aircraft besides jar?
Okay, baggage handling is complete and the aircraft is clear.
There's a fuel truck. I just love how they spawn into thin air just like that. Welcome to Barbados.
One, sorry, that's the one. Sound 1, 2 is like at 696, 96. Next one for your ATC.
1-2. Which gate am I at?
Goodbye.
I think I'm at 15.
What's this? Still station? I think the approach is now closed. 1 is Unicorn 122.
No! Yes! Have a good evening.
You two set the line.
See ya! Boy, look, Micah, you ain't a liar. I mean, before I was beta testing, I used to be like, how hard could it be to do this? How hard could it be to do that? But since I started beta testing, I just like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on this because like, when you make a change, you can make a very small change to something. Somebody says they want this in, and you decide, okay, I'm gonna write a piece of code to put that in, and that can throw the whole thing out. What am I happy about? It is 8:30. I don't want to be talking to ATC at this time. My daughter goes to bed in a couple minutes. I don't think there's any I don't think there's any developer that really does anything as their full-time job unless it's probably maybe the likes of Aerosoft or who else is a big developer. I'll say probably Airsoft is the only one that has that much business that they can be hiring full time. I could be wrong, but that guy, is it Mattis? Johnny, I think his name is Mattis from Airsoft. He's got his hands in everything. I mean, the Airbus, the CRJ, the what else do they have? The well, yeah, that's the Airbus as well. So the Airbus 318 to 321 professional, the A330, the CRJ. I think he's probably the only one that might be probably doing that as a full time job. Cause they've got so much business and even funny. I mean, like they've got the airlines aspect, they've got um, the airports, then they've got their own different packages as add-ons for the Sims. Yeah, that's not going to be common across the board. So yeah, not many people doing this full time, and even if it was an application that was going to be bought by everyone when it's made, once everyone's got it, there's no revenue coming in, and most of these manufacturers, most of these developers rather, update for free. I mean, you get one or two that will charge you for support, like that guy that did the light marble, black marble, I think it is, or something like that. But once they've sold their product, there's no more revenue coming until they make another product, and some of these products takes years to make. Yeah, it, in an ideal world, you would be able to have GSX and FS2 crew across multiple platforms, but the way that these things are coded is pretty much impossible. Like when UGCX came out, I hardly used to use GSX. I actually used to At one point I was using both UGCS and GSS. I was using GSS just for what you're seeing right now on the screen, and then as soon as time for pushback, then I was using UGCS. And UGCS is so complicated that it will never see the light of day into MFS. It's just not practical. And there are a few add-ons that will work across because they're very simple add-ons, not taking anything away from any of the developers. But if you look at that add-on that Michael uses, what do you call it, the thing with the announcements packets, that works in Explain. From my understanding, it works in P3D, it works in MFS. When you look at Active Sky, Active Sky have a variant for Explain, but it's not the same one that you're going to be using on thing. And I think if the developers could find a way to make one product that just go across all the platforms, they would do it. It's easier. If they can get their product being sold on all the platforms, more money for them. But it's a lot more simple to say than to actually do it. Gonna check here to see if I've gotten a. I still not getting a load sheet, not a provisional or anything else. You notice that my fuel isn't going up even though that guy is there all this time. Alright. I've never done it this way, so let's see if I can actually do it this way. Options, fuel. How much fuel do I want to have? I'm just gonna cancel GSX. I hope that's the only thing that's going wrong in this flight. 10.7. Let's say 10,800. Alright, I've got my fuel. GSX, let's disable you for a second. Enable. And let's see if we can force a load sheet to come to me. Fuel. You really there we go. Bloody hell. I'm not going through that again. Messages. That's my load sheet. (135.7) slash max 0 fuel weight is 31. That's gonna go there, and that's all she wrote. And let's see if we can do performance. Performance requests. We're going to be taking off from runway 09. We're going to do a pax off departure. Let's get the weather. So we've got 118 knots. It's going to be a slight crosswind, not too much. Runway orientation 091. So we're just going to have a 10-degree off the nose. 18 knots. We've got a temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. QNH is 1014. On to the next page. So we've got a Mach takeoff weight of 30.5. And we've got our estimated takeoff weight of 147.8. Let's call it 147.9, because more than likely they're going to tell me that I have extra passengers. That should cover it. And send. Set seatbelts on. Check the box.
Okay.
Flight deck to ground. Cockpit to ground. What is it? It's flight deck. Oh, frigate. Oxygen test. That's fine. That's fine as well. We've got oxygen. We just pretend that the first officer did that as well. Let's see what's going on. There's our performance. Disable that again because that fueler was not fueling us. Maybe enable it for pushback. Alright, so we're gonna do a pack soft departure. We've got down 0.43 performance. So 150 for V1, 150 for V2, for VR, sorry, and V2 is 152. Flaps 3 takeoff, 3/0.4 down. And we've got a flex temperature of 64 degrees Celsius. Well, it depends because I've got FS2 crew in MFS for the Airbus, and it's different to the FS2 crew that's in P3D. FSS in not FSS, FS2 crew in P3D is actually inside the sim, it's installed in the sim, whereas for MFS it's outside of the sim. So it interacts differently than how it would in this one. These ones have DLLs in the P3D sim. There's just an executable for the MFS. That being said, that same FS2 crew that I have for MFS works in P3D, but it is very limited into what it can control. It controls the flaps, the landing lights, and the gear, nothing else. If I used it on Fslabs, the one for MFS, I couldn't let the first officer fly the plane on its own because it doesn't have that capability. Are you ready for the departure briefing?
Ready.
What should I say to him? We're going to take off from runway 09. I'm going to be the pilot flying. You do as I say. Any questions? No? Good. Any questions? Any questions?
I'm good.
Don't let me fry you today. Alright, so that is pretty much us. Everybody's on board. We've reset GSX, so we manually did our fuel. Let's get ready to get out of here. Before start checklist, please. Before start checklist. I don't know what's going on with this thing now. You know, when everything goes wrong, it's just not going to end well. Before start checklist. Right.
Hello, Captain.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On auto.
Adheres.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
10,760 pounds.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Aero ref.
QNH 1014 set.
1014. Set. Electronic load sheet.
Sent.
Down to the line.
Cabin crew arm slides. Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers. Departure check completed.
Idle.
Bypass parking brake.
Set.
Before start checklist complete. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Adams Ground Jamaica 1244 is pushing back from gate 15, pushing star. Adams Ground. And I forgot to start my air cards, which I'll do now. Yeah, Johnny, that's why I'm always in Fslabs. Thanks, Dave. The immersion is, it was already locked. This is unlocked. It was already locked. That's why I'm always in FS2 crew. I get more satisfaction, not FS2 crew, Fslabs. I get more satisfaction in Fslabs from a same point of view than I would with any other carrier. Welcome to Air Cars. Open flight plan. There we go. No.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brake set. What's my alternate? My alternate is it Crown Point? Yep, TTCP for my alternate. TTCP. and the flight number is 1244. Nope.
Unlocking gear.
Starting engine 2.
Check. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Yeah, Michael, when like as soon as I take off, I don't want to look outside until I actually over water, because after seeing what MFS is like, to come back to P3D, it's just like, bro.
Checked.
You feel my pain. Starting engine 1.
Check.
So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just putting in my performance for FS2 crew to read, because it's not able to actually read it directly from the sim like it would with the NGXU. Transition level in Barbados is 3000. Acceleration, altitude, and reduction altitude is the same, which is 1670 feet.
And from like extra 22, 22 to push back and start up from 912.
APU bleeds off. After start checklist, please.
Anti-ice.
Off.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
26% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Flight controls check.
Ready. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Rudder.
With you. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Strange, my announcements aren't working. Another guy, Dave, who lives here in BC, was in our Alaska VA. He still flies only FSX. For him, it does what he needs, and it's like an old blanket. It's just a comfortable for him and fits like a glove. In all fairness, if you take away PBR, I think if you take away PBR and you take away the rain effects, you take away DX12 from P3D V5.1, it's all the same thing. FSX at the end of the day. And that's going to be one of the biggest things that is going to be a challenge to. How can you push back and be taxiing already? Right. Clear left side.
Clear right side. Check.
My Echo 2696 is back in runway 09.
Brake test. Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Out of traffic, Jamaica 1244, starts into runway 09. Yeah, it's going to be one of the challenges that P3D is going to have to deal with, because there's only so much more that you can do with this. This has gone through so many different iterations that there's very little that they can actually do now. I mean, like, you've had FSX, then you had P3D, P3D V2, P3D V3, P3D V4. We're now on P3D V5. And if you look at it, the differences between all the versions are very, very small. I can only think of two differences between what I have and P3D V5, which is Enhanced Atmosphere, EA, and DX12. Between V3 and V4, it's PBR and the 64-bit. Before V3 and V2, I honestly can't tell you if there's a difference. It's just very, very small differences, and it's now vintage. I've talked to some developers, and they're like, the business isn't at P3D anymore. And a lot of people complain because they've invested money into V1, V5, and there are still some developers that will continue to do V5. But when you look at the possibilities with P3D and then you compare it to the possibilities with MFS, it's night and day. So I'm not one of those people that would look at this and say, look, this is P3D, I ain't going to anything else. There are some people that say that. I personally, I go where I get the most enjoyment. Some days it's P3D, some days it's MFS. I flew around with Michael yesterday, and I was completely blown away at the graphics. I don't know what the frames were that I was getting, but my computer isn't the newest, and the difference between what I was seeing and what I would be seeing on a movie was very small. It was like I'm literally in the country flying around. Here, yeah, there's some things that they try to replicate, but I mean, like, come on, if you look at the ground doesn't look like this. It looks pleasing to a certain within certain limits, but look at that grass. When do you see grass looking like that? When you get above the ground, then there's some places where discoloration and stuff is. This only looks like this because this is part of the airport. Once I've left the airport environment, it's just going to be blah until I get to another airport. I disagree, because as far as Asobo goes, they just need to fix the SDK. If nothing else, fix the SDK, and you're gonna see all of these third-party developers just rolling out stuff, rolling out stuff. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the part with the SDK. Yeah, you're right. Once that SDK is fixed, a lot of people will come over to P3D. A lot of people like myself who have not P3D, MFS. A lot of people who have MFS like me and just use it every now and then will then make it their main sim. So yeah, you're right about that. Never thought I've ever missed Norman voice. I didn't even put on my taxi light. Oh well. Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 3.
Config 3. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
V1 is 150. VR is 150. V2 is 152. Flight temp is 64 degrees.
V1, 150, VR, 150, V2, 152, toga, ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Down to the line. Approach path clear check. Cabin crew deseated for takeoff.
Below the line.
Takeoff runway.
09 confirmed.
09 confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advice.
TCAS.
TARA.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Pax.
Off.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Adams Ground, Jamaica 1244 is line up, runway 09. Adams Ground.
On runway 09.
Ready?
Affirm.
Takeoff.
Check.
Adams Traffic Jamaica 1844 is taking off, runway 09. Adams Traffic.
On runway 09. On runway 09.
Thrust set.
Man flight 64 SRS Blue.
100 knots.
Check.
V1 rotate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
1,500 feet.
Packs are on.
Check. Flaps 1.
Okay.
Flaps 1. Set standard.
Speed checked. Standard. Cross checked. Flaps 1.
Flap 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0. Call for checklist.
Hold your horses. After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retract it.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line.
Below the line.
Barrel ref.
Standard set.
Standard. Set. After takeoff, climb checklist complete.
Set seatbelts off. Okay, what did I miss?
Confirm seatbelts off.
Airframe.
Confirm. Clear rad nav.
Affirmative. Mrs. Spur, welcome. Thanks for the for subbing. Dave, I saw some of that attitude with a developer. I think it's the same thing that same TBM. I can't remember.
Active to secondary.
Affirmative. I think it was the TBM, and he was talking about the TBM is more realistic than was in MFS, and
Flight level is as shown. Optimum flight level.
that was kind of a turn off to me.
Level is as shown. Are you happy with our current selected flight level?
Yes,
Okay.
that was kind of a turn off to me because I mean, like, first of all, he's comparing Piarco to default, which is one, and then two, when I saw all the stuff that people are going through, was it the TBM? I'm pretty sure it was the TBM. But I mean, like, there's no kind of modesty or anything like that. It's just arrogance. He kind of remind me of Umberto to a certain extent, where they can't see anything wrong with their product. If there's a suggestion made, it's perfect. If there's a problem, the problem is you, the user. So, like, that was one of the things when I saw when how he reacted when MFS launched. I was just like, ah. But I think, me personally, I think that MFS is going to pretty much shut them down. And the reason why I say that MFS is going to shut them down is because MFS is kind of like, I don't want to say a hybrid because it is not part of one and part of the other like a true hybrid will be. But if you look at MFS right now in its infancy stage, look at P3D and look at Explain, you find that MFS is catering for the hardcore simmer as well as the new to sim simmers. And you find with the hardcore simmers, they will be spending, 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 and they really don't care. They're just gonna spend till they don't have money. And you're gonna find the new ones, they just want to put something up in the sky. And if you look at the amount of freeware for XP, look at the amount of freeware for P3D, and then look at the amount of freeware for MFS. MFS is passing Explain shortly if it hasn't passed them, in my opinion, with the amount of freeware that's there. On top of that, a lot of the airports in MFS out of the box are very, very decent, except for unless you're flying at nighttime, then everything is pitch black. But because MFS is having so much support, you've got in Explain, you've got Zibo. That's the only freeware airplane to go to. There's none in P3D. For MFS, you've got mods for the A320. You've got mods for the 747. You've got mods even for the little pond jumpers like the Cessna 172 and stuff like that. So and then the next thing is the attitude of Asobo. Asobo made very, very ambitious plans, and to be fair, they haven't lived up to it. Based on the marketing, I'm really disappointed because I spent more money than I should have. I thought I was getting a lot more for my money by going for the premium package. I did not because the planes are rubbish. But oh, for crying out loud, seriously, like, 2 seconds, guys. One, two, 3.7. Exactly. What is this guy? This guy is, what is TTZP? I'm not.
Here, my A320 is aircraft type A320neo at flight level 240 with you.
Piarco Control, good afternoon. Jamaica 1244 with you, climbing through flight level 260 for 280.
Jamaica 1244 Piarco Control, hello, squawk item.
Squawk ID for Jamaica 1244.
1000 to go.
Check.
Piarco Control, American 1089, 280, X-ray 2326.
Cruising flight level 280, check.
Check.
Mike X-ray 2326, Piarco control hold squawk 3424.
Piarco Center, Virgin 3 and Papa with you, flight level 170.
Virgin 3, Papa, Piarco control hold squawk 3143.
3143, Virgin 3 and Papa.
Squawk 3424 is my X-ray 26. Virgin 1244, squawk 27166.
You have control.
Yeah, control, hello.
You have control.
I have control.
Defaulting complete, client 3596. Caribbean Airlines 186, Piarco control hold squawk 373. 376, Caribbean 186. And Caribbean 186, looks like you filed 5,000 for the cruise today. Just confirm you want to stay low or would you like to go higher? I'd say let's say for start setting. Caribbean 186, sorry. Virgin 3 Papa, identity ID, send flight level 100, vector dialing 10.
Descend flight level 100, rectify left to runway 09, Virgin 3 at Papa.
Virgin 3 Papa, my apologies, vector dialing somewhere 09. If you'd like RNAV 09 available as well. American 1089, identify climb flight level 380. 5380, American 1081. Mike X-ray 2326, identify maintain level 240. Say again for my X-ray 2326. X-ray 2326, maintain level 240, welcome.
Maintain flight level 240, my X-ray 2326.
Air Jamaica 1244, Piarco.
Go ahead for 1244.
Air Jamaica 1244, squawk 2716.
2716 for 1244.
Air Jamaica 1244, identify data course request.
Say again for Jamaica 1244.
Air Jamaica 1244, expect the RNAV runway 10.
RNAV 10 for 1244.
Virgin 3 Papa, turn right heading 180.
Right heading 180, Virgin 3 at Papa.
Give me a few minutes, guys.
Virgin 3 Papa, descend 3,000 feet to KH1014.
Descend and maintain 3000, QNH 101 for Virgin 3 at Papa.
Transition altitude 5,500 feet. We're going to do RNAV approach.
Zebra 255, not reading you on board. Try again.
430 is minimums. And final approach altitude is going to be 1,700 feet. Are you ready for the approach briefing?
Ready.
Okay, we're going to be doing the RNAV 10 arrival. We are going to descend to 1700 feet. We've got minimums for 430 feet. We are under ATC, so we'll follow his advice on going down. There is no star for the arrival. Any questions?
No questions.
I have control.
You have control.
Alright, Jamaica 1244 cleared, direct NAPCO across NAPCO, flight level, correction across NAPCO 5000.
Direct to NAPCO, cross NAPCO at 5000 for Air Jamaica 1244.
Virgin 3 approximately left heading 120.
Left heading 120, Virgin 3 Papa.
Speedway 255, Piarco control.
He being a big... Wow. How far is NAPCO? He literally... Nah.
Checked.
Okay. Alright guys, we are in our descent. What did I miss?
0, 1, 3, set.
Oh gosh, let me mute you. So when it was Liv Jark asked if anyone from working Titan and Fiber while I was in chat. Yeah, that's what I was saying about Asoba. From what Mathis was saying, even
Virgin 3 Papa.
even though the SDK is limited at the moment, these developers are talking to Asobo, telling them what they need, and Asobo's making it happen. And that's something that you weren't getting with P3D, and I'm not harping on P3D. It's just that I don't know that much about the explain in terms of the interactions with the developers, but I know with P3D, like if you look at version 5, they give PMDG and Fslabs a version to work with. The guys made their add-ons workable with that particular version, and then Lockheed Martin released a completely different version that the aircrafts weren't working with, and they had to pretty much start all over. Man, I bought the Premium Deluxe. Me and Michael bought the Premium Deluxe, and every time that Johnny opens his sim and he talks about he has the base version, I cringe. I mean, like, ugh. I spent that extra €60, and there's nothing in that sim that I use for the extra €60. $60 rather. Yeah, Mrs. Spur, the Caribbean is one of the most beautiful places to visit. And if you're a pilot, training pilot, is one of the best places to fly as well. And Johnny, that was a hint. Don't talk about you bought the base version. There's ground services.
3 Papa, wind 09017, runway 09, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 09, Virgin 3 Papa.
Alright, I'm gonna hand this back to the autopilot. And he can manage the descent, because I didn't realize that I'm actually above my my descent path. But I mean, like, to get this, you're looking at mshade, mtext, active sky cloud art. The amount of money that you have to there's orbits. What else is there? The amount of money that you have to spending to get something looking like this, you don't spend that in MFS. I mean, like, granted, you're not going to get the airport, but even Orthro, to me, doesn't look as good as MFS, even though they're using the same Bing imagery. For some reason, MFS pops a lot more to me. And we're back on the descent path.
Mike X-ray 2326, clear direct copy, cross copy, flight level 100. Clear to direct copy, flight level 100, my head towards information.
There's a lady that works with my wife since the pandemic. Barbados has been extending work visas to get people to come over and live and work. And one of her workmates have moved to Barbados and live on the coast, and I'm just like, whew. I miss home. Mr. S sells the things. I thought all of his stuff was free. And we've got turbulence. Set seatbelts on. Yeah, there will be no crashing, knock on wood. No sim crashing, rather. I can't guarantee that I won't crash on landing. And this looks great now, but if I was to be up here
Checked.
just before at dusk, my sim will be sticking all the way down to the ground. You know, we gotta get a selfie. That's a stick. Clouds. I think my dog farted on me. Disgusting. Ew. MFS have warts. It's not that bad. I mean, like, the jetliners are but I enjoy the GA aspect of it. We went, was it Catalina? We went to Catalina, or did we take off from Catalina? I can't remember, but we went to that airport that we went to with Michael the other day. I've never been there in the same. And your kids fart on you? Um, Yeah, my dog one is toxic. It's disgusting. And she stays there and looks all innocent and stuff. But yeah, Catalina, like I was telling Michael this the other day. I sim because I like exploring. I can't explore in P3D unless my wallet talks. You find that unless it's
Vehicle file, welcome to Barbados, left, Foxtrot, Alpha, stand 1, 2.
unless it's payware,
Alpha just now 1-2 Virgin.
I don't fly to it in P3D. How old is the little one? My dad used to play pranks on us when we were small. He would call us over and you go to him because in my generation, when your father or your mother call, you don't be like, what? You be like, come in. And when you get to him, he be like, I got something to tell you. And be like, what? And then he would just let one rip. I said, da flick ya. And it'd be like, we used to be so grossed out. I mean, like, talk about disgusting. But, oh, bloody hell. Sunset is gonna catch me. Activate approach phase. What is this? This is one messed up approach. I am not doing all of that. So I've got NAPCO 3M Letzer. I have Letzer there twice.
Air Jamaica 1244, fly heading 240.
Sweet.
Descend up to 3000.
Heading 344, descend to 3000, Air Jamaica 1844.
Air Jamaica 1244, heading 240 down to 3000.
240 and down to 3000.
American 108, as we airspace to North San Juan, offline, Unicom 122, 28, good flight, Miami either way.
Approach checklist, please. Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Seatbelts.
On.
Aero ref.
1013 set.
1013. Set. Minimum.
430 feet set.
430 feet. Set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Activate approach phase, please.
2444, turn left heading 080.
Approach phase activated.
Left 080 for Jamaica 1844.
Kevin 186, Carry 186, set for Barbados once we get closer. Carry 186, that's on and press standby.
I'll read you guys on the ground.
Carry 186, clear direct power and cross tracks out of 2000, report inbound from the procedure turn ILS 10.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Cover 186, it's proceed direct correct and then cross parts out of 2000, report inbound from the hold.
Was that for Air Jamaica 1844?
Checked.
Negative, Air Jamaica 12445 heading 070, cleared ILS runway 17.
He said RNAV. Heading 044 and clear for the ILS 10. America Air Jamaica 1244.
Air Jamaica 1244 negative, clear for heading 070, cleared ILS runway 10.
070 on the heading for Air Jamaica 1244. Okay. He said RNAV before. Bloody hell.
Mike X-ray 2326, over Cassie, report your position on 119.1, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Wipers on.
Air Jamaica 12, wind 110 at 11, runway 10, clear plane.
Clear to land runway 10, Air Jamaica 1244. Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Flaps full.
Speed checked. Flaps full. Cabin crew seated for landing.
Landing checklist, please.
Cabin crew.
Advice.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete. Passing final approach mix. 1700 feet.
Continue.
Checked.
I have control.
You have control. Pitch.
Approaching. 1, 0.
Continue.
Check.
Landing.
Checked. Pitch. Pitch.
What the hell?
Spoilers.
I'm pretty sure that was hard. Give me a second, sweetie. Let me come off the runway.
1,000. 2.
I'll come to you in a second.
Meters remaining.
Go away. I'm streaming. Go away.
900 meters remaining.
Jamaica 1244, welcome to Piarco, taxi Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu, stand 10.
Roger. Taxi Zulu, Zulu Alpha to gate 10 at Jamaica 1244. After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Okay, 186, clear to Alice, runway 10.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Careway, everything.
Off.
Predicted
Okay,
wind shears.
186,
Off.
that means let's say go around or
Checklist
touch
complete.
Sorry, 186, okay, copy the wind 110 at, sector 100 at 1 and 1, runway 10, clear to touch and go. On the departure side runway heading.
Welcome to Trinidad, guys. And we are looking for gate, and Jonathan oversteered. Gate 10. Where the hell is gate 10? Of the software thing. Alright. So that's going to be a left here. And there's GSS waiting. Wipers off. taxi light off. Parking brake on. And that's us. What did I miss? Yes, wifey, I miss you. Let's see. Man, it's so flinch when my parents call. Boy, Johnny, enjoy it while you can. My dad is no longer here. My mother is about 5,000 miles or so away. Sorry for your loss, Dave, man. You never get over it. You just learn how to deal with it, but you never ever get over it. Yep, time heals all wounds like all bullcrap. Yeah, they don't heal, man. This is what? 4 years? No, 6 years since mine is gone. And like I say, you learn how to deal with it, but you never get over it. Alright, requesting deboarding. Default jetway, confirm. I'll look at it in a second. FS2 crew for the win. Sorry guys, like the guy told me RNAV 10 and then turn around changed it to ILS and I'm like crap, and I'm in IMC. Dave, the floating lights with this is because this scenery isn't compatible with P3D. This is FSX, so I'll manually put it in, but it's not a P3D V4 compatible scenery. Take care, Mike. Thanks. Alright guys, we are going to call it a night. It is 9:48 p.m. here. Oh, I didn't turn off my beacon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy the stream. And we will catch you on the flip side. See ya. Cheers, Dave. Thanks for watching. Take care, Johnny. And Mrs. Spur, thanks for watching as well. You take care. And hold your nose when the little one farts on you. Later, guys.